Everybody can't be a rider, but you can train to be. Now, to piggyback off of the last Dooby Daily, let's talk about what type of bike you need to get and how to service it. Some good bikes to start out with are like your 250s or your 600s or your 750s, just small bikes like that because they're not intimidating to the eye and they don't have as much horsepower as your Suzuki 1000s or your Suzuki Hayabusas or your H2s or your ZX10s or your ZX12s. Now, when you get your bike, you can enjoy it, go through your routines that I taught you in the first episode for a couple of weeks, but then you want to get that fresh oil out of it. What we like to call it is that factory oil. You want to get that factory oil out of it because you don't know how long it's been in the bike, if it even is a full amount of oil in the bike. So then, normally on every bike, you got on your bottom of your bike, or your bottom of your motor is the oil pan. And normally you're going to see a bolt down there at the bottom of the oil pan, or maybe on the side of the oil pan, or maybe in the front of the oil pan. Normally it's like a 17 socket, standard socket. So you want to get your ratchet, get your socket, and unloosen it. And unloosen it all the way. Make sure you got an oil drain bucket and drain all your oil out. Once you drain all your oil out, you want to take your oil filter off. Normally you can go to your local parts store or like Harbor Freight, AutoZone, O'Reilly, Advanced Auto, and they normally sell the oil filter tool. If you don't know what it looks like, you can go up there to the front desk and they can show you exactly what it is. And you want to take your oil filter off and change out your oil filter, get the correct oil filter for your bike. Normally, I recommend using the Valvoline VR1 race oil to change the oil in my bikes. But you can use whichever one you like. I prefer Valvoline, Castrol, them basically the main two that I use in my bikes that we use to reservice all of our bikes. If you want to do the Castrol, I want to do the Castrol 20W50. Like I said, the Valvoline is the VR1 race oil, or it might say like something like classic cars and racing. So them the types that I like to get. So you want to get your oil, you want to get your brand new oil filter. Then once you drain your oil completely out, you want to put your bolt back on and tighten it down. Don't tighten it too tight to where you strip it out, but make sure it's good and snug. Then before you put your oil in your bike, you want to make sure you put your brand new oil filter on. Now, when you put your brand new oil filter on, it's got a plastic wrapper on the top of the oil filter. So you want to take that plastic wrapper off and then pop them with your brand new oil and just dip your finger in it and just kind of rub it around that metal piece on the top. Just a little bit to grease it up. And then you want to stick it back on your oil filter hole. Once you stick it on your oil filter hole, you want to tighten it down. Now, when you tighten it down, you kind of want to be gentle and easy with it. You don't want to squeeze the tool hard because then you can bust your brand new oil filter and then you have to go back and buy another one. So, you want to kind of be gentle with it, but get it snug. Once you got that snug and you got your oil filter drain plug tight, then that's when you want to grab your oil, whatever oil of your choice, and you want to pour it in there. Pour it in your oil. Now, once you get your oil filter tight and then your oil drain plug tight, then that's when you want to go over there to your clutch cover side, unscrew your top that's on top of the clutch cover, put your funnel in, then you want to pour your oil in. Now, I like to pour my oil in. You normally have a bar on the back of your oil where the handle is at. I like to pour it in there and then for a minute and set it down. And I like to get mine all the way down to it's about 1.5 quarts left in your oil jug. Once it get right there, I feel like that's a great substantial amount of oil. Put your oil top back on, tighten it down. Then you want to raise your bike up straight. And normally on the clutch cover side also, it's a little eyeglass that's at the bottom of the clutch cover. And that's going to show you how much oil you got in your bike. If that hole is full of oil, then that means you're ready to go. You're good to go. Now, if you can still see some space and some light in there, then you might want to add some more oil. Now, once you did your oil, my next service maintenance that I like to do is check for my antifreeze if you have a full of antifreeze. Now normally you're gonna have I call it like a little, not a bucket, but it's like a bucket on the side of the bike, and it normally shows you how much antifreeze you got in there. If it's full, you get ready to ride again.